Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm back today with my co-host, Jerrika and Alex. We are two of the coaches of Breaking 90 Fitness. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. Hey, Jer.
Hey, Alex. How have you been?
Good. I was excited to tell you. So I did an episode with Kelly the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I can't talk about this because I need to talk about this with Jerrika." I'm back outside running, and she was like, "Why is that? Why do you have to say that for Jerrika?" And I was like, "Because Jerrika always tries to make me run outside in the winter."
That's awesome. I have to admit, I've slacked this winter. Like in comparison to previous winters, it's been way less, but it's also been like minus 40, way more. So I can justify it a little bit more.
What I've been doing, so we touched on this quickly in the last episode, but we've got a trip planned. So I decided like a month ago that I would get my move goal every single day leading up to the trip for like a close to a 2-month period. And every week that I got the move goal every day, I have to increase the move goal. So I've been doing that, and that's been like, so it's getting to the point now where sometimes just a workout isn't enough. So then at night, if I have too many extra calories to get, I'll go for a light jog. And I'm talking like really light jogs. I'll take my dog out, and I'm not pushing the limit or anything, but I know that's going to help with my conditioning coming into the real running season.
Oh, definitely. That's all about winter running, right? It's not really about pushing a pace, getting a new max or a new quick speed. It's really just about staying on the legs, keeping them fresh, keeping things moving, because you're not typically moving that quick with this ice, snow, everything.
No, because I still run occasionally on the treadmill in the winter, not as often, but just to keep my conditioning up. But like after that first outdoor run, my hip flexors were so tight just from trying to dodge ice pockets and snow. And like I was running super slow, but just by playing it cautious, I noticed my hip flexors were way more sore.
Oh yeah, it definitely activates different muscles on the treadmill, but that's great.
Yeah. So what I have today is, and we'll just kind of pick through this list as we go, but it's lessons that I've learned from my 4-year-old. So lessons that I've learned from Emerson. Oh. And so okay. I want to tie some of these back to health and fitness, because I think there's a lot that we can all learn from kids because they aren't ruined yet. They don't have they haven't learned some of the habits and things that have gotten people to the point where they aren't happy with changes that have happened. Any questions before we get rolling?
No, I'm excited. This is cool.
Okay. So right off the hop, when I started thinking of this list, the first thing that came to mind was play every day. Get out there and play every day, right? Like if you guys have been around a 4-year-old, you know how important play is for them. And it's something that we as adults often don't make time for, or we neglect, but it really brings you back to your roots when you make time to play. And when you get to play with a child and see what opportunities that can open, the amount of movement that it can open, the different ways that we can use our muscles, and the ways that we can burn calories without it necessarily being exercise related. I think it's pretty cool, and it's something that we should all find a way to build back into our lives. This is something that I remember you having on your list of it was I forget what we called it, the 7 things for a perfect day for Jerrika or something.
Yeah.
Yes,
living your best life or something. Yeah.
That was one of the things for you too.
Yeah. And I think like it's so often that we talk to our clients about NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So finding ways throughout the day to increase your movement to burn more calories. This is one of the best ways, and I think the ways that we actually use the least, right? So I actually, the other day with a bunch of friends, it was perfect snow for a snowball fight. After we all just finished we went to the gym, we all finished our workout, we're outside and there's just heaping amounts of snow. We had a full blown snowball fight in the parking lot. And it's finding activities that make you laugh, right? And make you forget that I'm breathing heavier during this snowball fight than I did during that workout. And it's finding those activities that make you laugh and enjoy it, and things you did when you were a kid. And yeah, it was the best time. That's kind of what I thought about.
So this actually brings me into one of the other points, is that exercise doesn't have to suck. Okay. Because kids love to exercise, but to get a kid to sit in your gym and do squats and push-ups and bench press and run on a treadmill, like, they're not going to be interested. Likely I could get them to do that for a couple minutes of my workout. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy that stuff, but you don't have to exercise in ways that you hate. So finding ways to move more. And this is something that I've been experiencing as I've been increasing my move goal week by week by week too, is where can I find these pockets of play, right? Like, if I know that I still have 200 calories to burn in the afternoon, I'll be like, hey buddy, like, let's go outside and play. Let's have a snowball fight. These are the things that are going to boost that calorie up without making it feel like you plugged in another workout.
And when you see a kid play, or finding ways that when you see them moving and doing their activities, they're using their imagination. Like, they're doing activities that you've probably never even thought of, but finding ways to make it super active, right? So, and I think we can tie that into our everyday activities and exercises by using our imagination. You know, if I have a corner of my house, like I mentioned in a podcast before, my house is completely empty because I'm moving. I have nothing, but I have a corner that's empty and, you know, a couple heavy water bottles in the cupboard. I'm just making it work. I'm using my imagination. I'm doing what I can. And I think that's what kids do so often, is they just make everything up and it works.
Just this morning, so I'm looking for these opportunities everywhere to try to close this move ring a little bit easier. So just this morning, he found an old joystick that was for like a normal Nintendo. And he was pretending that it controlled this toy snake he had. So he wanted me to move the toy snake. So when I had the opportunity of just sitting on the ground and moving it around, instead I got up and I moved it all around the basement and he was controlling it, right? So like, they have the ability to turn anything into a workout if you are open-minded with them. Because I could have easily sat on my butt and moved it around me in that one small space, and he'd probably be fine with that. But the idea of us getting up and moving together made it that much more exciting and that much more involved. You're burning that many more calories. It's something that we often do as adults, is look for the path of least resistance, look for the easiest way to do something, rather than even if it's not necessary to do it the easiest way, or it seems silly to take a harder way to do it. Well, that's a golden opportunity to burn a few extra calories.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
So I'm all over the place with my list. I want to kind of tie them into one another. So the next one I want to circle to after you mentioning your snowball fight is to push the limits, because sometimes we have this cap on ourselves, right? Like, I'll circle back to my move goal again. Okay, I need to get 880 calories on my move goal. You get there and you stop. Well, what if you're still enjoying the snowball fight? Why not play for another half hour or an hour on that day if you have the time for it and your body's not sore and you're everything's allowing for it? Like, just yesterday, I took him tobogganing, so I was trying to run up and down the hill with him to get my movement in while he's tobogganing, and we were out there for a couple hours. We get home and he said, "Hey, can we go tobogganing again later today?" And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, kids have no limits. Like, when the normal person should just be exhausted, he's like, can we do that again in a couple hours after we have like a lunch break? Like, push the limits. Don't be afraid to push the limits.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's like, yeah, exactly. If it's like, oh, checked off their move goal for the day. Yeah, I did my 20 minutes purposeful movement. Yeah, I'm done. I'm just gonna. But if someone asks you for a walk tonight, it's like, well, I don't need to because I already did it today. Well, no, push the limits a little bit more. Say yes, and don't have to associate it with one goal, check it off. But you can exceed the goal or have multiple.
That's
awesome.
kind of what we mean too by our 20 minutes of purposeful movement. And 20 minutes is a figure of speech, really. For some people it's 5, for some people it's 30. That's fine. But it's like finding your bare ass minimum, your BAM. It's like every day, even on your worst day, I will do at least this. It doesn't mean that some days I can't knock that out of the park, though.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Cute one.
I think the next one that I should dive into then is to be willing to get outside of your comfort zone and try new things. There's never a time that I can't suggest something to Emerson. Hey, do you want to do this? He'll be like, yeah, okay, we could do that. And even if it's something he's never done, he doesn't know anything about, he'll try it. And we get very comfortable as adults where we stick to the stuff that we know we're good at, because we like to do things we're good at. But sometimes you'll be heavily rewarded by getting outside of your comfort zone, by trying something new. Maybe you're going to find something you love, something new that you're passionate about, or an easier or better way to do something. There's so much to be said for getting outside of your comfort zone.
It makes me think about the other week. It's actually happening soon, but someone asked me to go play pickleball. Have you ever played pickleball?
Oh yeah. I've played pickleball.
See, I've never played pickleball.
It's awesome.
Oh no. Yeah, so I've never played, and they said, oh, can you come? I think it was like 8:00 in the morning on this day. Typically, this is when I'm working out on that day. But this is normally I would be like, no, I'm regimented. This is my routine. Like, I can't go, sorry. But I was like, no, let's try something new. Maybe this will be a totally new form of exercise that I absolutely love. So it's something to look forward to. And yeah, that's awesome.
So my first job as a trainer was at a YMCA, and they didn't have full-time hours for me, but wanted to give me a full-time position. So they also made me like a group fitness instructor, and like they just kind of gave me a couple different jobs within the fitness in the fitness world so that I could get full-time hours. So I'd like run a group fitness class, come downstairs, do some personal training, and then they had me running sports events also. So I ran a pickleball league, and pickleball was like designed to be low impact for mostly for elderly people who can't play high impact sports anymore, like tennis. It was a lower impact sport developed for them, but holy man, it's awesome. It's a great workout, and it's so much fun. So I would just play with them every day, and like I would get destroyed because they were so skilled, and it was a huge workout for me, because if you've ever watched a tennis match where one player is heavily dominant, they don't have to move that much, and the opponent is all over the place.
Yeah, it's so true. It's and that can be for any activity, but yeah, exactly. It's just being open to trying something totally different. It could be skiing, snowshoeing, anything. Cool.
Okay, we've got a couple more. So don't be this kind of with push the limits is the same, but don't be afraid to break the rules and to explore outside of the boundaries sometimes and see what you can get away with, right? It's the same idea as pushing the limits, though, really, is don't feel like you have to stay confined to whatever constraints you believe are perfect, because there's, especially in health and fitness, there is not one way to do things. You'll rarely hear us say that no, that's not you can't do it that way, or you have to do it this way. There are so many different paths to take to get to that end result.
Yep, absolutely. That one ties in perfectly.
So while we are on the kind of movement and fitness is squat. If you've ever watched a kid squat, holy man, can they squat?
I was gonna add this one if you didn't.
They can squat perfectly. From the time that they can balance themselves, kids squat perfectly. And somewhere along the line, most of us lose that ability. And it's just because we don't do it with enough repetition and enough range of motion. You're not breaking 90 degrees. So that is something that we all could do more of. And I'm not talking about squatting under load or squatting for a certain amount of sets and reps, like just having the ability to move in a full range of motion and squat and move often is something that you should pay attention to if you ever watch kids squat.
Yeah, pay attention to them picking up an object. Like that's how we should be picking up an object. They squat perfectly, keep their chest up, grab the object, and stand and go. It's like, no, we don't need to arch your back, hunch over, and keep our legs straight. Like they know how to pick up objects well.
It's
Injury-free.
funny. It's funny being in the fitness industry because I feel like you're really, really hypersensitive to this, and you watch kids move and you're like, wow, I need this kid for like a video demonstration. Like,
yeah,
these
exactly.
kids are incredible with the way that they move their bodies. They're so good at preventing injury.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one more off topic before I get into the nutrition side of things, and then there's just a couple there. So the last one is to forgive and forget quickly. And anybody who's been around kids is probably aware of this. But if they get in trouble or they do break the rules and they have to suffer the repercussions, which might mean turning the TV off, they will quickly rebound from that. And where adults have the ability to hold a grudge, and this isn't so in line with our health and fitness, but I think it was important to mention, they will always pivot, they will always overcome, and they will always move forward. Like if Emerson, for instance, he gets told to turn the TV off, you've been watching too much TV, he'll be upset for like 30 seconds. And then he will go to his toy bin and he will start playing with toys. And like we often let these little, obviously we don't care about things like shutting off the TV, but it's the same type of things we deal with as an adult. These little obstacles, these little things that get in our way, these little setbacks, these things that piss us off. We let these fester, we let these control our mood, what we're capable of doing for the day, how we our outlook on the rest of the day. That ability to forgive and forget quickly and move on would help us hugely on whatever goals it is that we're seeking.
Yeah, that makes me think of like if I originally wanted 30 minutes to working out and something came up and I only had 10. Well, I'm upset that I didn't get my full workout at my 30-minute workout in, when in reality, I still got 10 minutes of movement in. Move on. Yeah. You moved, and continue with your day and see what tomorrow brings. Plan better or whatever you can do to control the situation and move on.
I can't believe the ability that kids have to overcome that. Like you, sometimes as an adult, you feel bad for telling them no or for telling them that they can't do anything anymore. And you're like, I feel so bad. And then like 5 minutes later, you check in on them to see if they're kind of mad with you, and they're not. They've overcome it. Like they're ready to rock.
They're just over it. They're like, yeah, I don't even remember you getting upset with me 3 minutes ago. No. Let's go play. Yeah.
All right. So the last one that I want to touch on, they all intertwine, but it's eating, drinking, and sleeping when you need to eat, drink, or sleep. Right? Like we overcomplicate this. We tie so much to our bedtimes and our meal times. A kid will eat when they're hungry and they will stop when they're full. They will rarely stuff themselves. If they're thirsty, they will get water. If they are tired, they will have a nap. If they will always make enough time for sleep because we as the adults are allowing enough time for sleep. But these things allow them to live the high quality, high intensity, high impact lives that they do because they listen to their bodies.
Yeah, I think this is honestly one of the most important ones. And I know obviously we have more on our plate, so our time is a little bit more restricted, but prioritizing those three things should be basically at the top of our priorities, or near the top, I would suggest, obviously along with family, friends, etc. But those should be your priorities, and finding ways to make that time frame work. Exactly, will give you the energy needed throughout the day. That's amazing.
Yeah, and so I don't think everybody has the ability to just start doing this tomorrow, eating,
No.
drinking, and sleeping when you're tired, because we've spent so many years getting rid of those habits. But it's kind of like that end goal is to teach myself how to live more like that again. Obviously, we have to work, we have to follow our schedules, but to try to find golden opportunities to fit these things in could pay off huge in all of your life, where you're not ever eating until you feel sick, where you're not skipping water when you're thirsty, when you aren't skipping sleep. Like this is a huge opportunity to live more like a child.
Yeah, and just getting in touch with your cues, right? Like some people just eat because it's 2 or 1 o'clock and it's lunchtime. It's like, am I hungry? Let yourself feel a cue first, right? And then
we did a whole episode on intuitive eating a while back, if anybody's interested. The last thing I want to add, and we don't even have to touch on this, I know we're running short on time, but is to always have something to look forward to. If you tell a kid that next weekend we're going to the park, they'll spend their whole week looking forward to that. Find opportunities to look forward to something, to plan something small, to strive towards, to look forward to be excited about, to like get that feeling that Santa's coming in the morning, right? That's the last one that I wanted to add.
That's so important. That drives you in the morning to wake up and keep going, whether it's just to drink your water because Alex is looking forward to his trip. So he's going to get his movement and he's going to keep doing those things. So yeah, that's awesome.
And we've been trying to do more of that, just plan little outings and little events that there's always something on the horizon, right?
Cool. I love it. That was such a cool topic.
Yeah, I had fun with that. And there's probably so much more we could add to it, but those are the ones that stuck out right away.
For sure.
So I'm going to leave you guys with a quick fitness tip, and we're going to wrap this up. My fitness tip today, something that I've been using a lot. If I'm close to my move goal, but not close enough that I'm going to get it just sitting on my butt, but not far enough that I need to go out for a run or a workout, I'll just put on some music and climb my stairs. So basically, if I get about 10 calories per minute climbing stairs, and if I know that I need somewhere less than 100 calories, that's how I'll do it. I'll just put on music and climb stairs for 8, 9, 7 minutes, right?
Awesome. I love it.
Okay, guys, thank you for listening. Have a great day. We appreciate you being here. Rate it, comment, and share it with your friends.